G2 domestically found so much success playing through the side lanes, but we'll see what the game plan is, what the approach is from G2 moving into Game 2.
As we enter Champ Select, powered by Omen and HyperX. Already seen the Ahri ban, so very much the same. But now the debate coming in. Jack's going to be banned away from... Honestly...
Probably should have been that Game 1.
If we're drafting based on crowd reaction, then that was the right choice.
You imagine the Kalista going to be the last ban once again from BLG. There's no pressure on them to really change anything up. They're pretty happy with how things played out. The Skarner from Shun, the desk already highlighted how effective it was. The Ashe going to be the final denial. So no Nico ban this time around from G2. So what will they first pick? Will it once again be the Orianna?
Skarner.
They're going to shift things up. I think it's smart. Take that away from Shun, but also grab it for yourselves. A strong front line. We've seen it have so much success so far at this World Championship. And I think that overall it is a well-rounded pick. Now BLG, I wonder what they're going to look to try and blind. Do they want to try and lock themselves in a strong bot lane? Do they maybe want to play for the Vi or something? I was thinking Nah, as I say it, Nah I feel like it's such a great blind for Bin just because of how confident he is at the pick, but also because of how narrow the top lane pool feels right now. And with the prevalence of swaps, it feels like that after Jax it becomes one of the next best blinds.
Definitely does, right? Obviously, compared to the Jax, as you highlighted, it will suffer a little bit in the swap, but overall champion who does well in the side lanes. It was a small buff kind of coming into the Worlds, just 3 AD, but oftentimes that's all it takes for a champion as stable as Gnar to be pushed ahead. But Nico now the option, so
there's
BLG,
always the flexibility here, but you assume that this is going in the mid lane for Knight.
Definitely. I think when Kalista's off the board, certainly the bot lane Nico, not always going to be the strongest option, but we'll see. Obviously in our previous series, there was, Caitlyn Lux, there was a lot of these ranged options, is now Yasuo is getting locked in.
Okay.
Sylas is getting locked in.
Okay.
And I will say, no matter what happens in this game, as an EU pundit that has watched this team all year, I'm glad they're going out crazy. I'm glad they're going out cooking.
I think that this is a much better look. This is exactly what we wanted to see from Caps, giving him something a lot more individual agencies. He already has 2 great ultimates to steal. With the Xin Zhao locked in for Jun, this would be a 3rd one as well. And you can see the early skirmishing power that BLG have. Often when you want to set up a Xin Zhao, it is when you pair it up alongside a setup mid laner. So the utility provided there by the Nico, and then he's going to be able to dish out the damage. A great mid-jungle combo available for BLG. But we'll see how they make it work in the early game.
And one thing I will call out, this is Yike's first game on Skarner since the rework. His last game was on old Skarner in NLC, I believe 2020. Stats team feeding me that one. So while I have no doubt that this has showed up in scrims, G2, this is last stops. This is last chance. They're pulling out everything they got. Yasuo and obviously very conventional answer. Sylas, some pretty good ults to take, but Shun on a champion with as much early game impact as Xin after that Game 1 where he really took over the map is a terrifying prospect. You can see the tension on the faces of the G2 coaching staff as Draven will be banned, Poppy as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about if G2 wanted a Poppy for themselves, but they're going to be the ones to ban it. BLG in the previous game banned away the Poppy. Now they could narrow down the AD pool more if they wanted to, but maybe they think about getting rid of something like the Rel, maybe even the Leona. Obviously there's a lot of flexibility, and the Poppy ban probably threw them off a little bit. But the Varus, so they're going to narrow down that AD carry pool just a bit more. Now of course it was the Xayah and the Ezreal that were banned away from G2 in the previous game. Elk, though, I feel like he's a very versatile AD carry player. He's not really going to struggle. He's going to find something.
The question is, are they willing to take the Ezreal for Kai'Sa trade? Are they willing to play either side of that potential matchup? Kai'Sa will be banned, so kind of ready to accept the Ezreal with open arms, even if it's generally just an incredible pick in the hands of top-level AD talent.
Now, so far at Worlds, Elk has only played the Jhin plus the MF alongside the Kai'Sa, but as mentioned, he has a very deep pool. He's hovering his potential options right now, and I think both make a lot of sense. You've got a very short-range composition on the side of G2 already, 3 melee champions. Yeah. So Xayah loves that type of trade. You want to come into me? Great, sets up nicely for my feathers. Usage of the wind wall could be good to interrupt those feathers, but it means that you then can't use the wind wall for potentially other tools. So
also just having that answer for dive threats, will always feel good. See what the counter is, what the option is from the side of G2. Of course, in a position where they have to blind pick. Ezreal giving them that safety will allow them to get away from the Xin relatively easily. Mickey, what is the option going to be? Rel again.
Rakan maybe, to deny it away from the Zyra Rakan. Also with a fast engage to potentially catch the Zyra off guard. Another knock-up as well. They could also consider Alistair for a little disengage against the Xin as a possibility. But I think they're going to go for something a little bit more defensive rather than all in.
Rakan will be the option here. Taking away the combo as you highlighted.
So now you're looking at an Alistair probably once again for on. Again, the problem is you can't because it's Silas. So now you have to make the question of do you actually want to play the Alistair?
Decent matchup pre-6. This!
Ooh, that's pretty good again.
I forgot this champ existed. That's really good into this composition. Yes, wind wall is a concern, but if they ever overstep and engage, Silas and Yasuo are going to have a miserable time getting onto Elkanon in these team fights as long as Renata has those cooldowns available, because Bailout is also so good against compositions that are reliant on dives with the Silas and the Yasuo.
What I will say is BLG, in my opinion, have drafted for a winning bot lane 2 versus 2. But at the same time, it's like G2's kind of happy with this because they don't want to swap the Yasuo out. But at the same time, they now find themselves in a losing bot 2v2 where I imagine BLG is going to set their sights in the other game, allow Bin to just play the matchup isolated on the top side, and Shun to just kind of go to his old winning ways. We think back to the version of BLG with Shun, very bot focused, aggressive early game dives, playing around this bot lane 2 versus 2. That was a style that they found a lot of success with in the past, and they're looking to replicate here in this game.
Definitely have incredible tools here on the side of BLG, right? Early game 2v2, I love how you highlighted that. The second you pick the Yasuo, yes, it's good into the Gnar, but it's terrible in the lane swaps. BLG can be rest assured they'll get 2v2 lanes if they want them.
I will say, though, if you're a fan of G2, this is the type of draft you want to see. A bit more creativity, a lot more individual agency. Is it going to work out? That's yet to be seen. But if nothing else, they're going to go down swinging with a composition that breaks the mold a little bit more than what we've seen from them so far.
And go out fighting. Berlin alive with chance for G2. We take to the Rift. Standard lanes seem to be the name of the game. We'll keep our eyes on the level 1. Again, G2 versus BLG, the featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. The runes come on screen. You can see nothing too crazy here. Grass, pretty standard. But Electrocute for Caps wants a bit more damage here, while Knight's just trying to weather the storm.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
We take a moment of calm, as I expect this game to be a bit more of a brawl. You have 3 melee champions, which is the top side of G2, that really want to get in the face of BLG. However, they have Renata, Xin Zhao, Nico, and Xayah that kind of thrive on, well, there's disengage on the side of Xin Zhao and of the Renata, but also Nico Ultimate and Xayah Ultimate are just great into champions that want to close the gap for you. So how G2 find ways to navigate around this is going to be interesting to watch. But the good news for G2 is they've got a Silas. They can steal those ultimates for great effect, and it's going to give an opportunity for Caps to really shine. The truth is that regardless of how good he is on Orianna, I just think that we haven't seen his impact like we've seen domestically. Even at the first start of Swiss stage, when he was on the Yone, it was his split pushing that was so massive for bringing G2 back into many of their deficits. Now G2 are looking for an early trade.
Trying to get brush control here, but again, the level 1 is difficult. Xayah level 1 not that menacing. But with Renata potentially taking the handshake, or just the shielding, makes it tricky.
They're going to get this early push.
I mean, the fight is it's just a fist fight for level 2. It's so crucial for both 2v2s. You can see no combat sums really on either side. Exhaust cleanse versus barrier heal. They both know that they're likely to be the center of attention early on.
And Broken Blade able to get that early level 2. In this matchup, it's an old school counter, but it is an effective one. Basically, like the wind wall can not only interrupt the boomerang, but also it's just in the consistent trades, Broken Blade just wins, right? And it's much easier for him to close the gap because of his E through the minions, which means that he doesn't suffer from some of those other champions in the laning phase against Gnar as much.
Yeah, it's similar logic to why Aurelia can be really good, right? It's really easy to get on top of Mini Gnar, whereas you see in so many other matchups, Mini Gnar, the movement speed, the hyper procs just keep champions at arm's length.
And then when he's in Mega Gnar, you get the Tornado, and he's a bigger target to hit.
Yeah.
So
and then you walk away, because
yeah.
Mega Gnar beats everybody, but that's fine. You can just leave.
Cap's going to struggle a little bit in the early laning phase, but for the time being, he's doing a good job. Of course, you're going to see him lose a lot of HP. Running the Electrocute for those short burst trades that he's going to be able to take once he get a few more levels under his belt. But in the meantime, he's just going to have to accept the fact that it sucks. Ooh, Caps. Yeah, he's going to be forced to flash there.
One more auto. Caps going back in for a little bit of extra healing. Will at least survive, but a disastrous early lane. Sticking around, Doran's, I don't know if it's enough. But luckily, they see Shun on the ward crucially at Raptors. Caps knows that he just has to survive in the context of the 1v1. Blooming Bows not going to do much here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough matchup, and Knight did a good job of playing around the cannon minion that Caps really wanted to get. And so he was able to find a really nice punish. Cap's going to try his best to back quickly so that he can TP back into lane. Knight still going to have tower aggro. Ooh, not ideal there. Oh, Broken Blade though. That is not a good trade for him. Shun is hovering around the top side. He's looking. I think he's going to find this game.
Oh, this is tough. Xin early on with red buff. Broken Blade should just be dead. Shun taking his time. Waits for him to leave. Tornado going wide. W follow-up likely to force the flash at the very least. Third auto not going to hit. Patience from Broken Blade. Knight now trying to get away. Clone used to body block. The E2 is big. Root there from Knight as well. Flash forward, but Mickey gets hit by the root. Now going to follow up, but moment of split coordination. Caps too low. Caps no mana. Can't follow to get more damage down. Now Mickey trying to body block. If Knight does try to stop the recall.
I mean, the good news for Caps is the wave is in a pretty good spot. But yeah, a bit of a misplay there from Mickey. He wanted to connect the flash into the knockup. I assume he thought that he could flash over the root, but it ends up connecting, and he ends up getting punished for it. Knight still with his summoners, going to expend the TP to get back into lane. But ultimately, nothing really lost for the BLG mid laner, as Mickey hovers around mid once more.
Trying to follow. This time he manages to hit. Shade Splitter not coming in fast enough, forcing the flash from Knight. Positive advantage to the side of G2.
Now this is a great position because the wave is still pushing towards Caps. So while Mickey does overstay, Ezreal in the bot lane should be relatively safe. There's no real cross-map play for BLG anywhere on the map. And Knight now has a huge health disadvantage and he's a level down, meaning that Caps is able to find a kill and it's forcing On to come. He has to come, try and help push out this wave underneath the tower so that the wave isn't as bad. Good play there from On.
Certainly is. On and Elk, of course, resetting first means Elk is already in the top lane. However, they're mixing things up, want to put pressure on top side so they can secure control of the Grub's pit. But Broken Blade level 5 in the isolated 1v1 should be able to do some work here. But Elk already having boots too makes it that much harder. On now on the way. Broken Blade level 6. Tornado, where's it going to go? Going back in, taking his time, moving away. Windwall a little bit awkward. Is On now starting to chase, but Yike is here as well. Not able to connect. Doesn't get the knockback, no setup angle for Broken Blade. Mickey is here. Shun.
I think Broken Blade's quite happy to play this though.
Knock up.
Decides not to go for the all-in. They don't have information as to where Shun is.
Pull back, handshake is big. Broken Blade just barely able to escape. Guardian proc.
Oh my god, G2 playing on the edge here. BLG's bot lane doing a good job of weathering all that pressure. The heal was used by On, but no summoners burn on the side of G2. It is G2 to start off the grubs. Jun is around though. Broken Blade has to base and he doesn't have TP available. Ezreal's on the way.
Level 6 for Caps, no level 6 for BLG on the top side of the map. Emotes coming out.
I mean, they're still playing with confidence, which is a sight to see considering how devastating it was in game 1. The gold remains even. Ezreal's actually moved over to catch the mid wave. They're going to send Silas to catch the top, and then Broken Blade is going to head towards bot. Crucially, Bin still has TP available, and he has a healthy CS lead over Broken Blade, and he's going to be able to get 2 plates off the back of this. So while all of those shenanigans were happening on the top side, Bin was able to gain a pretty good advantage off the back of it.
Good awareness from Bin to push his advantage. Actually goes Mega and ults the wave, just effectively one-shots it, crashes it that much sooner. Broken Blade with vision. It's a quick Q off to delay Bin's recall. Just trying to mess up. And he's planning that BLG have put together as Caps is once again on a side lane. G2 don't have a significant lead. But compared to game 1, this is going significantly better.
They've moved Elk into the lane with Broken Blade, and they had Bin TP top to catch that wave. So again, Bin is doing a good job of just keeping up with farm. He's catching all of these waves. No one on BLG is really losing out on much. The only person that's been put behind in the early game really was Knight due to all that pressure that came through from Caps and Mickey. But even he is in a comfortable spot. Jun teasing the dragon, but with the bot lane now here, he should be able to secure it. Mickey has to be careful.
Handshake there. Pull back. Knockup is going to be there as well. Clean interrupt coming in from the side of BLG. An excellent pick. Mickey overconfident to step up. Thought they'd all be focused on the Drake.
Level 4 there for Mickey. He's going to be 2 levels down behind On. That ultimate, once again, going to be very crucial as we get closer to the next Grub spawn. And it's BLG that find first blood once again.
And you can see, now that we've ticked over to the level 6 mark, how much harder it is for G2 to find angles to fight. You have the hostile takeover. You have the Featherstorm coming in from Elk as well. The number of priority targets that are easy pickings has essentially disappeared as Knight now also has access to his ultimate. Broken Blade going for the 1v1 here.
Nice sidestep there from Bin, able to dodge away from the Q to avoid that stacking.
Blade gets bone plating off at the very least. Q3 goes in. But with Gnar so close to Mega and at full HP, Broken Blade can't really afford to commit too hard to the trade.
A bit of a slower early game this time around. Shun not able to have... I mean, it's kind of crazy to me that Shun hasn't been able to have the same early game impact on his Xin Zhao compared to the Skarner, but I think where he wanted to play through was the bot side of the map, and because of how defensive this Ezreal Rakan is and how safe they can play in lane, he wasn't able to find many opportunities there, and mid would be his other option, but because of the pressure that was thrown onto Knight, that also limited his early game options.
Also, you're playing Xin into Skarner this time, not into Nocturne, so enemy jungler's going to participate on the map before level 6. I think makes those decisions a little bit higher stakes. It's Caps. Small XP advantage here in the mid lane, but Knight getting close to 6 as Mickey just returns. Mickey now highwaying in. Knight locked up for a brief moment. Caps has stolen the ultimate, immediately going to respond. Handshake is there to interrupt. Mickey still only level 5, Shun on the way, and they need to make their way out of this one. Wind becomes lightning onto Caps. Yike now coming through the wall. G2, can they turn this? How long is the cooldown? Abscond, abduct. Won't be able to get anything there. At least calling the attention, but Bin going crazy on the top side. Doesn't quite connect the wall, but will force Broken Blade back.
The supporting staff of BLG and Shun and On there to cover for their mid laner. Great timing from them to provide that utility and turn the play around to actually get the flash out from Caps. Knight didn't have to expend anything. Now look at them once again, returning that pressure from mid into bot, setting their sights on covering for Elk, maybe even looking for a gank. But I don't think they'll be able to find much once again. This bot lane very slippery from G2. Mickey very close to that level 6, and remember Grubs, 25 seconds. We expect these resets coming from these bot laners soon, but it should be BLG to be able to get that prio. They push in another wave, and they're gonna look to reset ready for that Grub spawn.
G2 uncertain. They can afford to reset there. We'll see if they now turn their attention to top side. That's big from Shun. Caps has TP, he can get right back on the map, but as long as that recall is delayed, Caps can't get really involved in any plays. BLG painfully aware that they can't give up a single Grub, so despite the initial top pressure in favor of G2, been on the map sooner, Shun on the objective sooner.
Yeah, really smart. Really, really smart. You called it out, interrupting the base, and it really just boils down to that. G2 cannot get back out onto the map quickly enough to really contest. So they're just going to have to concede. If they could steal one, that would still be a big win for them, but it looks like that with the reset coming through from Broken Blade as well, that they're not going to be in a position to do so. Good setup from On and Elk, making it hard to actually enter the river. Broken
Mickey
Blade
caught out, double knockup is big, instant follow-up, suppression now there, Charm, but the ulti doesn't hit from Yike, crucially onto Yelk. G2, do they still want to keep going for this one? Another knockup on should seal the deal. Bailout now coming in, Caps off onto the side, looking for the 1v1. Desperation comes in, he steals the Gnar ultimate. Hanzama finds the kill, now the chase is coming in. Shun locked up, Broken Blade chasing. They found the angle, they found the fight, and they found the grab on top. G2 take the advantage.
An early skirmish goes the way of G2. It's set up by Mickey and Broken Blade. The knockup comes through and allows the setup that forces the summoners out of the bot lane and a winning fight. They get themselves that 4th Grub, and G2 looking a lot more confident here in game 2. So we talked about it. Mickey with the setup, he's contesting this ward. Maybe he's at risk of getting caught out, but no, this time he goes in knowing that Broken Blade is at his back. Yike is there, doesn't connect the ultimate. Oh, because the charm comes through, slowing his lockdown.
Ulti comes in from Bin, decent damage, but as long as Silas has W, he should live for an extra second, but no! CC layering is flawless. Yike now chasing, Bin likely to fall. Yike looking for the knockback as well. One more auto and a Q to finish, but clutch flash! The kill finished. Extra life now coming in off the kill for Broken Blade. He'll manage to survive 1 for 1 on the top side of the map. You can see BLG Now trying to match the pace of G2 as they push in the bot lane tower. G2 responding with a little bit more pressure in mid. Ezreal going to be try to delete those waves, slow down this push. Caster's not going to fall though. It means it's very likely that BLG will grab that Shun now here as well. Credit to BLG, keeping up the pace now, matching G2, getting some gold back across the map.
Yeah, I don't think G2's really going to be able to cross-map this. Again, like, it was a 1-for-1, but if BLG secure the first tower, that was definitely a worthwhile trade for them. With the plate still up, though, this tower is very durable. Caps should be able to get within range to be able to deny that. Here comes Mickey, too. Do they really want to go? No, this is too ambitious of a play. Okay, so let's kind of take stock of the situation. For the first time in this series, G2 will find themselves with a gold lead. They got themselves 3 plates in mid lane, they got a single plate in top lane, and they defended their bot tower. Caps has been sent to the bot side of the map, no TP available for him, with the Dragon available. Broken Blade heading towards top, doesn't have the TP either, but Bin does. So if G2 want to try and contest this Drake, they're going to be guaranteed and man down. They'll send the Ezreal over to mid, and one of the biggest shifts that we're seeing in this game is, number one, Caps having a little bit more agency in the side lane on the Sylas. In that previous skirmish, we didn't talk about it, but in a 2v1, he was able to get that kill into Elk because he stole the Gnar ultimate away and knocked him into the wall, guaranteeing that kill. But this time, Mickey's just roaming around the map a lot more. He's making his way towards top.
Broken Blade, where's the wind wall going to go? Knockup is there, manages to block a little bit of the damage, doesn't really have a clear path out to safety. Ult through, trying to get a bit more damage down on the shot. Nice dash back! Oh, the wind becomes lightning! Knockup is there, but they don't really have any other follow. They at least stop the play. They slow down the play on top side. The tower will still fall, but in the meantime, Hans is pushing.
A 3 versus 2 situation, but again, like, that was a great representation of what I'm talking about. Mickey is just more present on the map, and it's so easy for him to collapse, turn plays around, and just provide that assistance for his laners. And look at mid lane right now, Hans in a 1v2. On just can't match this roaming pressure coming from Mickey.
And I think it's so good that you call that out, because while the Renata is incredible into this G2 composition, you've denied On the same agency he had on that Alistar to make so many of these plays. He now has to stay beside his AD carry. Can't afford to roam individually, will probably just get caught out by this G2 composition. So as G2 was set up on the objective, BLG hovering in the area. Knight no TP, but he's on his way. Caps split pushing in a side lane. Tale as old as time, but G2, can they navigate this one well? Bin with Mega Gnar coming. It doesn't look like they want to try and take this fight, but they're staying in the area, maybe hoping for an exit kill, maybe hoping for a mistake from the side of BLG, as Caps is already recalled.
He's not going to get that, though. Objective secured for BLG. I mean, it's an exchange across the map. G2 still in a very comfortable spot. Caps is able to get a lot of solo gold off the back of that. Notice that he's a full level up overnight. Hans Summer as well, quietly, has just become this, I don't know, I didn't want to say millionaire, but he's just been like, he's making
rich.
a lot of money, yes. Like, we haven't talked about him all game. He's just been picking up plates passively, he's been farming, and you like, look at the farm, and it's pretty much dead even, but getting that kill, getting that assist, and getting all these plates has been really beneficial for him. Now G2 set their sights on the top side of the map, but BLG is here to respond.
Wind wall to stop in for pushing anything else. Stolen Gnar ultimate, knockback, clean follow from Broken Blade as well. Shun cannot peel. Yike with the follow-up 2 on, coming over the wall. The hostile takeover will do a little bit of work. Shun trying to hold on for life, but the knockup is still there for a brief moment. Shun trying to escape the heal coming down. On just doesn't have enough cooldowns to save his jungler, and G2 gonna keep the pressure up.
The skirmishing is going so well for G2. Across the map, they're able to find these, while Knight will get a tower in the bot lane. Sylas, Yasuo, and Escada. A combo I never expected to see. But this is the form of G2 that European fans have been waiting to see.
And you hear Berlin come alive, but it's still Knight pushing on a side lane. 4K lead, G2 in a fantastic spot, no doubt. But remember, this is BLG. This is a team who have team fought out of bigger gold leads in most of their impressive games. So this is a team you can't afford to disrespect, but BLG clearly not respecting the potential here for G2 to make a play.
Look at Bin trying to move. So first he's CC, then he's knocked up again, and then he's thrown into a wall. He never had the chance. One more auto could have given him Mega Gnar, then he ults, and then maybe the play gets turned around, or at least he's able to get away. But as much as they try, the damage is too strong, and G2 are able to get 2 kills, and crucially, that tier 2 tower in the top lane.
And you can see G2 player confidence is improving. The mechanics have been clean. Caps, I believe, the first hostile takeover, gets the ult into the wall to interrupt any of the hostile takeover, buffers that input. Same there with the Abscond of Duct. Absorbs most of that duration, using the E stun to keep Shun in the area.
And now we're getting into a situation where Broken Blades he can't lose in a side lane. Like, who's gonna stop him? Gnar can wave clear, but the reason why you pick Yasuo into Gnar is because, as we talked about in the laning phase, when there's a wave, he can get on top of the Minimar, and then you can use the W to mitigate his ability to kite. So Broken Blade's going to be this side lane threat. Caps is sitting on the other side lane, and so G2 now have these multiple points of pressure, and now the story's reversed. BLG want to plan these fights.
I was going to say, we've completely swapped. And I think that one of the things about this Yasuo build, and it's the same as the Yone build, right, that makes it so frustrating, is if you are ever caught on a side lane, you cannot get away. Caps spotting Knight, at least for a brief moment. Again, the Stride Breaker, Blade of the Rune King, these are not champions you can escape from in an isolated 1v1.
And our stats team just pinged us a huge congratulations for Caps, as he was able to secure his 300th kill at Worlds. He's the 8th player to achieve this in Worlds history. Goes to showcase the legacy of the player.
The question is that going to be a consolation prize or an additional little something to celebrate?
We'll have to find out as G2 set themselves up for the Dragon, spawning in 30 seconds.
Elk getting chunked, though. Big that Hansan was able to leverage that range advantage. And unlike game one, again, BLG no real vision control. And we saw for G2 how crucial it was to get that set up first. They never really did. And as a result, all their fights were scattered. Can BLG execute better? Can they find better angles? They certainly have incredible tools, but the gold deficit only continues to grow. G2 getting further and further ahead. 1.5 items completed for Knight, forced to go for a little bit of healing reduction here. Cosmic Drive completed for Caps.
Do you want a fun fact?
Sure.
Caps has more HP than anyone on BLG. He's at 2.9k HP with just these 2 items.
All I'm saying is bring back cut down. I'm saying bring back cut down.
Yeah, do you want to know another
Or
fun fact?
Dominic's passive, put it back on there.
His W scales with his missing health.
I mean, it could be a situation. Hold that thought as On has been caught out. They're trying to layer the CC on. Holding on to the ultimate, but will be forced to burn the flash.
I thought the Caps would try to steal away the Renata ultimate there, but he decided against it.
Trouble is it doesn't do damage.
Now, the other scary thing for BLG is we've already talked about how this Yasuo pick is a problem for them. But Baron adds another complication, because I think Yike and Broken Blade can duo Baron, especially with Wind Wall, which means that there's always that possibility that G2 can just keep their Ezreal mid lane, they can put Sylas in a side lane, and quietly, unbeknownst to them, this duo on your screen could just be taking that objective.
And I think one of the big things we talked about when Elk did pick this Xayah was, hey, it has so much safety against this dive threat, but one thing it always is going to lose out on to an Ezreal is mid-prio. Ezreal's queuing that wave before Xayah can even walk up, ulting that wave before Xayah can even get in the area. So it only makes it that much easier for G2 to establish control. They're battling 1v1 with the Herald in the jungle. Not where I expected to see it, but of course for BLG, a bit of an awkward game state means they are forced to use it in less than ideal circumstances. Mickey potentially caught out, Ben ready to go over the wall. Wall up, not going to hit.
It's okay, Mickey really needs to be careful though. We've seen him get caught out a few times in this series. Admittedly, he's only at 1 death so far, but he is sitting on a ward once again. Notice though, Caps in a side lane. Now, as someone that's been casting Caps all year,
that's where you want him to be.
This is a statement that I've missed saying so far in the last 2 games for him. But yeah, it really has just been him in a side lane for so much of G2's success this year. He was doing it on Azir, he's been doing it on Yone here at Worlds. He does it on as many champions as he can. And he is continuing to get strong. He nearly has a 2-level lead, well, he's got a full level lead, I should say, overnight. And he's got a 1k gold lead as well. He hasn't bought any boots yet. I imagine Merc Treads will be the direction that he goes. We'll have to wait and see as the pressure really starts to mount more for BLG. They find themselves at such a significant deficit. They're now looking for G2 to make mistakes, which they've made. In this position before,
100%.
They've overforced Barons. They have a tendency to get caught out, as we've been seeing at this year's World Championship. So they need to really lock in now and try to equalize this series if they want to keep their World's dream alive.
And G2 have the tools to pressure side lanes, to not give a 5v5 to a BLG comp that would love to have it. We saw BLG play with that level of discipline, the necessary level where they could just outmatch G2, never give them those good angles. Need to see if G2 can do the same. Spawning Shun, Bin versus Broken Blade on the top of your screen. No one getting a greater edge. Hansama eating forward for just a bit of poke onto On. Difficulty for BLG. They don't really have mid prio. They don't have top prio. So they're taking some risks just to walk in here. Only really know they're safe Once Cap shows on bot wave, which he has done now, so all of BLG now stepping up at least for a moment to see if they can get down some vision.
I'm thinking about what ultimate. It's probably the Gnar ultimate.
It's the Gnar ultimate.
Yeah.
It's always the Gnar ultimate.
Here we go, Baron being started. I don't know if they want to finish this objective.
I think you can keep him here. I don't know if Caps has dive threat, though. Is it a flip? Don't want to see the flip.
Gonna run out soon. Here gets the TP. Have they got what they want?
Managing to get two! Over the wall! Caught unawares! Overconfident plan for the 50-50, but now G2 need to get the fall. They cannot let Shun into that pit. Caps stealing away the Nico ultimate. Mini Gnar there. It should belong to G2. The follow-up for Broken Blade. Ulti there! The combo in game 2 to solidify their lead to take down BLG, but Bin's not done yet. Shun's not done yet. Finally, he will fall. Hansama popping off in the fight to finish the job. A double for the Ezreal.
Insane ulti from Yike. Phenomenal. A play that no one was expected. From over the wall, he's able to catch the bottom lane of BLG. That's going to be a Baron. And BLG find themselves with their backs against the wall here in game 2.
This entire tournament, G2 have had moments in games where it's looked close, but finally, the chance to take it to game 3 against BLG, an incredible game, returning to the creativity they're praised for.
I don't even know if he has vision.
They can't see him.
Oh my goodness. The knock-up as well into the double Yasuo combo. It's a clean play from Yike.
I don't know where Flowers is. I know he's in the studio, but I guarantee he was hyped about that one.
And then this combo as well, the follow-up, the knock-up from the Yasuo into the stolen ultimate from Caps. He has the arm guard as well. Broken Blade kind of finds himself isolated in 1v1 against Bin, where Bin is able to punish him, but then Hansama comes in for the cleanup, and then Knight's forced to flash away. Baron secured. And
smiles and relief on the face of the G2 coaching staff.
Eyes were about to come out of his head. They're looking to equalize this series, bring us to 1-1. But this was the G2 that Europe was waiting for.
And
they are delivering.
This is what they need, right? A team that looks so out of sorts towards the end of the T1 series. Now finding their footing when it matters most. It's only game 2 in a best of 3. Do or die series. It's not done yet.
I mean, if they do win this, it's ultimately going to come down to that a single game, right?
And I mean, I think this is the thing. It's just your entire year for both of these lineups in a single game. That is more pressure.
Oh, Broken Blades.
Than most people are ready to deal with. Broken Blade, will he get caught on side? Holding onto that Q3 as long as possible. Gets the double knockup, crucially. Elk now trying to follow. Wind wall is there. G2 locking down towers on the bottom side of the map. Pick will be there in time, though, for BLG. Can they turn back to defend? Only 1 minion remaining. G2 likely to need to back off here. Potentially a bit desperate. Yike fishing. Won't get anything yet. Recalls from Elk as G2, 2 pressure points. The call for a fight, the pings on the way. BLG ready. 3 members isolated.
The TP flank, TP flank.
TP from behind, Bin, but it's only the mini Gnar. Caps trying to chase, trying to follow Bin off to the side. Yike getting pulled back by the handshake. G2 trying to retreat as cleanly as they can. Hansama safe for now, but Shun is on the way in. Wind becomes lightning connects. Knockup is there. Mickey trying to keep his 80 carry standing. Shun going to fall. Bin, the mega stacking. He's on the chase. Can he get the double bounce on the hop? Sterix there. Hansama cleanse out to safety, but BLG just continuing to step forward.
I mean, they've been able to reclaim some space. Good play from BLG. Getting that initial pick on the top side of the map. Keeping their bottom inhibitor tower alive.
Caps. Elk waiting over the wall. Wants to make the difference. Stolen ulti is going to be big here, though. TP now coming in. This leaves G2 in a bit of an awkward spot. Wind wall from Broken Blade to try to save. G2 sticking around.
Ultimately a wasted TP. That's going to be crucial, as it's now much harder for G2 to play across the entire map, as we've seen so much from what they've been doing. BLG slow the bleeding just a little bit. They do a good job of finding that initial pick on the top side of the map to then make this great TP flank play, those crucial wards on the bot side of the map to enable them to find that collapse, getting that kill onto Yike and finding an opportunity to stay alive in this game. You mentioned it before, Dracos. BLG are a team that are tenacious. They're excellent at finding those good fights and finding ways back into the game. And G2 can't afford to be caught off by that. They know they're stronger right now, and they have to try and leverage their strengths. 2 minutes until both objectives.
I mean, it's a 3-item Xayah. Elk in the right position, targets lined up. G2, if they overcommit, they overgroup. The angle's there for BLG, despite the gold deficit. But Hansamu and G2 are playing without fear. Mickey waiting off to the side. Does get rooted, handshake, good patience comes in from On. Holding on to the hostile takeover. Well, doesn't have it yet, 7 seconds. They do get the heal out at the very least as Broken Blade continues to step up.
Lane.
Cap's still in the side lane. Q3 from Yasuo, only gonna connect onto the clone. G2 do not want to let BLG out of their base.
There's the grubs in the mid lane, I think. Maybe the Ezreal wants to... No, all right. Alonso's thinking about it.
TP from Caps. Will just be a 4v4 if they can try to force this fight. Ben's able to recall though. He will get here sooner. Caps looks like he's chasing the 1v1, just keeping an eye on that potential TP. Gnar forced out. Skandum Duck not gonna connect, wall up there. Again, Caps staying close.
The collapse from G2 as well. Ben has to take this fight.
But Ben can't win the 1v1 against the Silas. There's too much sustain. Knock back to the wall. Caps takes his time to make sure everything is lined up. Mininar coming out though, a lot of sustained damage. Caps though, the healing coming in is simply too much. Mickey on the way just in case. Ben trying to hold on as best as he can, but Caps will not fall.
It's a bit of a scary situation as Caps kept missing that E, but it doesn't matter. Mickey there to support. They're able to find the pick, and now they're on the offensive once more. Baron a minute away. Ocean Soul a minute away. Bin will be up in time for those objectives, but what damage can G2 do in this window?
For now, pushing out on their side waves. BLG trying to group, get a bit more control. You can see their vision being laid down, trying to find an angle to make sure that they can contest. Don't want to give up that Ocean Soul. Bin now at the wit's end makes that 1v1 that much easier if he can find it again, but they don't even want to wait for the objective. Elk forced to go into the air. The flashback is clean, but the wind wall stops the feathers from being pulled through, but he holds on to the cooldown for a moment, but it's Yasuo! In the midst of everything, Broken Blade. Knight now going to be in trouble. The Stolen Ultimate taken away. Mid laner gone. The bailout not enough. On with a hostile takeover. But it doesn't do anything. Crucially, G2 pushing in to end the game right here, right now. Bin responding just in time to watch the base fall. Can he make the difference? On, running, knock up there. Caps, gold into the BLG base. Hope ignited for the LEC as Bin falls. As it'll all come down to a single game to decide who will make it to the Swiss stage, the bracket stage, excuse me.
G2 bringing out some creative picks to swing back hard in game 2. 17 kills to 5.